Hello guys, I hope you are doing good wherever you are and welcome to this tutorial. Today we are going to discuss on CSS colors and you do remember that CSS is all about styling a HTML document. So first of all you must have a HTML document and for my case I had already created a HTML document. So let me just open it. So this is my HTML document that I've coded. So this is the form that this is the document that we want to style, and I remember we are discussing HTML colors. So CSS colors are specified using the predefined names and values. So with the names, it's just simple. You just include perhaps red, black, and green, but for now, let's at least talk about the CSS colors. So first of all, you recall we had created a CSS document here, a CSS file here. So and we have linked to this document, and that's why we have an external CSS here. So guys, first of all, we want to style this document. Let me use the background of this page. So let me say choose a selector. Selector is a it's a body. Just write body, and then you open and close these curly braces, and then perhaps write color, background color, background color, and then give it something like I want a lighter color, a lighter color. Perhaps let me try this one. Then Control S. Oh, sorry. We are discussing, the color names. So let's choose a simple one like light blue, light blue. So when you click Control S to save, and then when you refresh here, remember you can see we have the light blue background. So this now the CSS colors with the names, which are defined by names. So those that are defined by names, they are just as simple like this way. You just include background colors, then you include the name, perhaps red, and so forth. So, for example, let's style this the title to be another color like red. So you just say H1, H1, H1. Um, H1 is perhaps we have H1, H1 actually H1, and then open and close these curly braces, and then write color text color to be red, red. Then click Control S to save, and then Control R to refresh. So guys, you see we have the we have our colors. This is the H1 document title heading, and also this one is a H1 heading. That's why it has picked all of them. So guys, you see with the HTML colors that are predefined by names, they're just simple like this one, like this one. So we want to go to test our complicated things. So with the CSS values, we have three colors, three major colors that are used to create other colors. The major colors that are used to create different colors. We have the red. Um, we have red, green, and blue. So, guys, with CSS colors, it can also be represented using values. Apart from names, just name it. You can specify it using the values. So, for example, you have the RGB values. You can represent a color using the RGB values, or you can represent colors using the HEX or hexa or hex values, and also we have the HSL, hue, saturation, and the lightness. So we want to begin first of all with the RGB values. So the RGB values actually represent red, green, and blue. And with CSS, it's believed that only these three colors are used to generate other colors. For example, you can use these three colors to have a pink color, to have something like orange and so forth, or brown. So these are the major colors which generate the other colors. So and each color has a value which is 255. So red is 255, the maximum, and then green has 255 and the blue 255. So perhaps if you want to know the number of colors that these three colors can generate, you just multiply 255 times 255 times 255, and then you get the number of colors that they can produce, or they can generate. So each parameter, which are red, green, and blue, defines the intensity of the color between 0 and 255. You should note this. And then, for example, if you have the RGB 255, 255 to be red, and then 0 green, and the blue 0, you will have the red, because red has the highest value. But if you have the all the values to be 0, actually your color will be black. So for example, these colors by default they are black because they has these 00 values that produce black. But if you have 255, which is the highest, all of them to be 255, you shall have the white color to be the pure white. It will be very white. So perhaps let's try an example here, practical here. So for example, I want to style this first document to be, to be white. So allow me to use the inline CSS to use an inline CSS here. So just write style, uh-huh. And then give it color, uh-huh. And then write your RGB, and then yeah, and then open and close. So let's give it values. So for example, let's say, uh, oh, oh, first of all, let me open and close these brackets. So let's give it 255 each, 255, comma, 255, comma, and then 255. So when you click Control S to save, and then when you refresh on this page, you see you have the white. So basically, 255 will give you the white colors. But for example, you have let's give it something like a 00. Let's say 0, 0, comma 0, comma 0. It will give you black. So click Control S to save, and then here to refresh. So guys, you see it will give you black. So basically 00 will give you black, and 255, which is the highest value, will give you white if all of them matches 255. But for example, take this example. So guys, basically 255, if you have 255 in this first value, it will give you red because it stands for red. Red is R, G is green, and B is blue. So if you have 255 and the rest is 0, it will be red. Actually, let's click Control plus S to save. Sorry. First of all, ensure that your cursor is in this tab with this window, Control S, and then go to this other window, and then click Control R to refresh. So you see we have red because the highest value here is red. So assume this is 0, 0, and then here at the middle we have 255. So basically it will be green because green is the highest value. So just click Control S to save, and then refresh here. So you see your title will be green. Then another scenario, let's assume this is 0, and then here we have 255. 255. So it will give you a blue because it has the highest value. Just click Control S to save, and then I refresh here. So guys, you see we have our title to be. It is now blue. So basically, this value, this RGB represent values and the intensity of colors. So 255 is the highest. So perhaps let's say here we have 100. Here uh, we have something like 150. You'll see another color popping up, and then here let's say um, something like 10. Uh, you see it will generate another color, which I don't know. Just click Control S to save, and then a Control R to refresh. So you see how it has given us the color. So basically, these RGB are the ones that are produced different colors. Remember, I told you that you just multiply 255 times 255 times 255 to get the highest value that these three colors can produce. So basically, these are the symbols. These are the symbol or are the basics about the RGB. But remember, we also have the RGBA with the A, an extension of A. So basically, this RGB with an extension of A is a nini. The A part of it is just alpha. Alpha actually representing the opacity or the transparency. So RGBA colors values are an extension of RGB. That's the extension. So for example, if you have 255, 255, and then you include an alpha there like 0.1. Remember, the alpha or the intensity ranges between 0 to 0 to 1, 0 to 1. So now basically you can have 0. 0.1, 0.5, 0.6, 0.8, 0.9, but it cannot exceed 1. So basically 0 defines zero intensity, actually completely transparent. And then one defines the highest opacity, the highest opacity, which means you cannot see, it's actually opaque. Some of you who understand these things, it will be just actually opaque. And then when you have actually the middle is 5, so it will range between the transparency and then the the its thickness or its darkness. So basically the RGB, they are just the RGBA, it's just, it has an extension of the transparency. So assume, let's use this second line. Just write style, click enter, and then I give it color, and then we want to use the RGBA. So RGBA is here. So R stand for red, G for green, B for blue, and then A for alpha. Alpha now is the intensity or the opacity of your color. So for example, um, here we have the let's use values. Let's use values so that everybody can understand. So just open and close these brackets, and then here you just write the values of the color. So for example, let's say 200, comma 100, and then 200, 200, and then let's give an uh, opacity of 0.5. 0.5 here. So when you click Control S to save, and then refresh, you'll see a color here that but it's dim. But when you give it something like 1.0, you'll see at least the intensity will change or the opacity. Just click Control S to save, and then refresh. So at least you see there's a change here. Earlier it was it was transparent, at least a bit transparent, and right now it is at least, it has increased the intensity of the color. So let's use an example of 0.2, 0.2, or 0.1. Then click Control S to save, and then refresh. You'll see the big change. You see, almost transparent. But when you give it one, and you give it 1.0, it takes the highest intensity or opacity, the fullness. So when you click, you see the at least the opacity has increased. So this now all about the RGBA colors. So basically, RGBA values are, it's just an extension of the RGB, which is red, green, and blue. So another thing that we are going to discuss is um the CSS HEX, which is a hexadecimal color. Basically, the hexadecimal color, which is abbreviated by HEX, actually specified. They specify colors with the RR and GGBB, which represent red, green, and blue respectively. So basically, these RR, BB, R, they are what? RGB. So R is red, G is a green, and a B blue. But I begin with the hashtag is the HEX, which is hexadecimal colors, which are specified with you begin in the first with the hash, and then RRGGBB, which represent red, green, and blue respectively. So basically here, colors ranges from between 0 to 15. But the whole numbers, or I don't know what it's called, but it ranges between 0 to 9. I think the whole numbers. But with the with the CSS colors, with the hexadecimal colors, it ranges between 0 to 15. So which means when you reach 9, then you begin A, B, C, D, E, F. So F, E, F, then you reach 15. So basically, let's count. When you reach 9, then 10 is the A, 11 B, 12 C, 13 D, 14 E, and then 15F. So basically, these are the values that represent colors in with the HEX, CSS colors. So basically, F describe the highest color. Like in the previous, we used 255 to be highest, but with the hexadecimal colors, FF, which is 15, represent the highest color. So let's do it practically now. So in this third line, so let's say style. First of all, we are using an inline CSS. So just click use style, and then we are using the the HEX. uh we are using the HEX. So with the HEX, there you not represent this value, just use the hashtag. So you shall use this hash, the symbol for hashtag, and then I told you that F represent the highest value, and then 0 represent the least value. So for example, if you use 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, it will give you black. But before then, let's use white, so that it may be a bit, have a change, because the colors here is black. So let's use FF. um FF. No, actually, let's use FF, and then click Control S to save. Then here, Control R to refresh. So you see, you have the color is white because it has the highest value. But for example, if you use 0, uh, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, it will be black. Click Control S to save, and then you see we have the black color. But for example, mm, let's mix some colors here so that we may have at least let's say FF, and then we have AA. AA, I don't know is the range of which color, and then let's give it something like again EE, something like that, or let's say again FAA, FF, or let me say 9, 9, 9. Yeah, then click Control S to save. Then here Control R to refresh. So you see it has given us some color here, a color here, but it's fading because the background is light and the color is white, so that's why it's fading. So this now the HEX, which is hexadecimal colors, actually use these values to represent the color. F represent the highest color, the highest value of color, and then 00 represent the least value of color. So then another type of value of colors that we are going to discuss here is the CSS HSL colors, which represent U represent H represent U, S saturation, and L lightness. Actually, HSL value is represented um, in U saturation and lightness respectively. So U is the degree of the color wheel that ranges between 0 to 360. So the U is in that something like this. So this now is the range of color that goes between um to 360. So basically, uh 0 will represent red, and then green it will be 120. Yeah, you just divide a half. So 0 is red. Actually, yeah, 0 is red. Green is 120. Blue is to 40. Blue is to 40. So when you have 0 degrees, so it will be red. Then when you have 120, it will be green, and then to 40 will be blue. So it goes in that range, and then the saturation here, it is represented in percentage form. So 0% means the shade of gray, something like gray like that, and then 100% represent the full color. So it represents the full color when it's 100, and then another thing is lightness. Lightness also is represented with a percentage. So 0% represent black, and then white is represented with 100%. So basically, this goes like the opacity, the saturation, the lightness, just like the opacity, saturation, the lightness of something, and increasing some light in a certain words. So let's go do it practically. So let's go to this other line. So here you use the HSL. First of all, you must have the inline style CSS, which is uh, CSS style. Then you choose color, and then now here you have the HSL. HSL. So now HSL. Let's delete these things so that we may have only the values. So I told you that the 0% represent red, and then green is 120 to 40 is a blue. So for example, let's use the 0, but you don't put a degree up there, you just write 0. If it's to 40, you just write to 40, don't use a degree. And then this is now the U. And then saturation, saturation, you use percentage. I said that a 0 represent something like a shady like this, something like a gray, and then 100 represent the full color of the you want. For example, this is red, so when you give it 100 percent, it will be the full color, which is red. And then another thing is the lightness. So when you give it 0, it will be darker. When you give it to 100%, it will be brighter. So let's give it something like 0, so that you may see what it is. So 0, we say that it will be darker, so 0%, and then I click Control S to save, and then I refresh. You see it's just black like that. But for example, I had saved it very bad. Let me try to refresh. It's still black. But for example, let's give it something like 100%. 100%. It will be white. It will be white. It will be very white. Uh, oh, first of all, you must save your. So basically, in brief, 0 represent the type of color, and then this range that goes between 0 to 360 represent the colors. So 0 is red, and then basically 120 is green, and blue is 240, and so forth. And then this second value, talks about the saturation. Which ranges between 0 to 100%. So if you have 100%, it is its full color. It will be its full color. And then, but when you give it something lower, like 0, it will begin to fade. And then here, percentage here, the lightness is now the. If you give it something like 0%, it will be very dark. But if you give it something like 100%, let me put here percent, it will be very white. It will be very white. So just click Control R to save, and then here on the browser, give it a refresh. So you see it's white. But let's give it something like a 50. Mm. And let's give it something like a 50, and then just click Control S to save, and then here refresh. So at least you can see it's red, a bit red. Mm. But let's use another color here, like a blue, which is represented with, we say that a blue is represented with 240, right? 240. So then click Control R, Control S to save, and this on the browser, just click Control R to refresh. So you see you have at least a blue. So guys, you see how these colors are very simple CSS colors. So perhaps in this registration form, let's put another color here. We have just finished, but uh, let's put a color here in this registration form here. Mhm. So let me, yeah, here it is. So let's use an inline style. Just write style, style, yeah, style, and then a color, background color. We want background color, and then give it something like give it something color like let's use these ones that they have given us. Light green, not really. Let's use something like this. Then click Control R to save. Control S to save. Then on the browser, Control R to refresh. But this color is not pleasing to me. I might want to change it. So let me use a different color here. I'm just using this color pickers here. Hmm. Let me let me choose something like this, then Control S, then on the browser Control R. But it's a bit, I want to make it a bit light. Control S, then on the browser Control R. So basically, you've seen now we've this now all about the colors. So we've talked about the color names which are just given with color names like you can say red, and then blue, and so forth. We've discussed the RGB colors, and then RGB with an extension of A, which is alpha, and then we have discussed hexadecimal colors, which is HEX, and then finally we have finalized with HSL, which is hue, saturation, and lightness. So basically, this is now all about colors. In this tutorial, I just have to let you know to understand the basics about colors. So guys, just keep it here. I'm going to create another video on CSS padding and margin and borders.